Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have reached the sixth class. Today is 14, November 14, and I would like to say that we are in half of our journey. And based on this, I'd like to ask Mamani and Joseph and Rafael if you had any different uh, impression, any different thinking about what we talked last meeting, the fields and the attributes we discussed during your exercise, and different perception.
Okay, this is Joseph. So far, we've enjoyed everything in the class, and then we are following everything as it's going. I have only one question with a
Yes.
calendar. A
Mhm.
calendar. Yesterday, I set up my calendar with the various exceptions and various constraints, and I just want to know if one calendar can apply to all activities, or I need to set various activities for various calendars. Because in the class, you were giving an example for the plastering, for instance, that when you do the plastering, you don't need to follow the normal calendar for it to dry before you can do another activity. That is for the activity. But the place where I have to put in employees to work doesn't mean I have to set up a different calendar altogether, because employees are not going to work on Sundays, but the the plastering can dry up on Sunday.
Mhm.
So does it mean I need to do another calendar for employees,
Yes,
or
we
I
will.
can just keep?
Yes, you are right. Your idea, your perception is right. You have a calendar for the activity, a calendar for the projects, a calendar for the phase, the calendar on activities, domains, leads, how the work will be done. Imagine if you have a calendar on your activity, it works on just only commercial days, you will have activity being done only in commercial days. I mean, from Monday up to Friday. If you apply some employees or workers or resource with a specific calendar that works also on Saturday and on Sunday, the activity won't be able to exist. The activity won't allows you to schedule work on Saturdays and Sundays because the command will come from resource labor's calendar. And you have to apply a calendar to activity that it must be compatible with the resource calendar. That answers your question? Okay, we will see it on next Monday. Next Monday, we'll keep an eye on specifically resource, the kind of resource that work or equipment that works for you in such a way. They must live under a calendar. Materials on Wednesday don't have to obey any calendar. They exist all the time without your interference. And money, of course, on Friday, we will have the same idea. Sorry, on Monday, we will have costs preceding anything else. Rafael, please.
I have some doubts too, Marcus. Let me open it here. Uh, with leg, I put the column leg, but it's not. I
Okay,
cannot put any
information on it.
number. Yeah, it's strange.
Yes,
I
but
I
it's not
I'm not
strange.
sure if
because I'll explain it to you all. Lag is something in relation to the activity. Do you agree? Because the activity must occur before or after with a delay or not, or anticipation. That's lag for activity. And you cannot insert a lag information in the column or the field lag, because this field is not for activities. This is a special field for teams. When what? Yes, it's under activity. You may have one team of workers, a team, a group of people working there, and you may have two teams or three teams. So if you define a team with two workers and another team working with another two resource, you may inform and you may model spider according to your needs. So cleaning the sites, you have one team of 10 workers and another team with another 10 workers. You may apply two teams and the second team will start with a leg. So these leg columns or these leg fields refers to teams of workers, not for the activity logic linking. It was clear now? Does it clear now for you?
Not so sure, but I will see the records later and try again.
If,
Another doubt here
Mhm.
is um, not comfortable if I'm doing right interruptible and continuous.
Mhm.
Because when I try to see this in the Gantt,
You
uh,
won't see it.
yeah, I don't see any difference.
Yes,
And
because okay, finish please. I interrupted you.
no, I also finish it too. But let me complete because
Yes.
if I put another yes or no, no, doesn't matter in the Gantt. I try to see Saturday and Sunday in the Gantt, and not so sure if it was successful.
Mhm. When you say that's interruptible or not, you inform for the algorithm that when it has to decide to interrupt or not, it will interrupt or not, or it won't interrupt. But now you have just the information of what to do. And the algorithm will decide when it is starting and when it will finish your activity. As you have no resource applied, assigned, as you have no questions or no constraints, the algorithm won't decide to interrupt or not. As you just informed that the activity may be interrupted if it is necessary. As the algorithm doesn't know if it has resource, it has material, or even if it has enough money, it won't be able to decide, okay, I will interrupt this activity now and I will continue after another activity. That's the reason when you schedule, you do not have interruptible or not. You may break your activity into 2 or 3 phases, 3 steps. You may break it, but when you schedule without resource, without any constraints, CPM will schedule as it is continuous because there is no constraints that would lead the algorithm to understand now. I have to break it now because I do not have a time calendar. I do not have this information to oblige me to follow this continuous or not continuous adjust.
All right, let me construct an example. for you confirm me.
Mhm.
So if I have $100 to make an activity, and my common hour is 20, and then my extra hour is 50. So it will be applied if it's continue or not continue depends of the time remaining of the day.
Yes, it will work according to your constraints, and your constraints may be money, resource, or material.
All right.
Sometimes because calendars conflicts. If I cannot work on the same time with another activity with a different calendar, I may work when this activity want to work. So probably the algorithm will keep the one activity working, and on its holidays, on its exceptions, the algorithm may schedule part of your activity into this time. But just if it finds any constraints, any conflicts, it will be better explained when you assign a resource. But this assignment is for next week. Money,
Thanks a
material,
lot.
and resource. Okay? Mamani, I think you have space for a question because everybody, I mean, the two others made questions. I think you are allowed and in your rights.
Yeah, good morning. No, I just the question I wanted to ask is part of it is what Joseph asked regarding the resource calendar, because in instances where you have planned for like to use an equipment for a job, a task, and now the equipment is broken down and all that, how do you deal with such things, or a particular resource is not available, either human or the equipment is not available? How do you deal with that? Do you have to create a separate calendar, or your project is delayed and you have to reschedule it? How do you handle that?
You will see it next week. We are
Okay.
reaching the half of our journey, and we will finish scheduling. Scheduling, as you may note, is too easy because just a question of algebra. Start, finish, finish, start, start, finish, finish, another start, and the computer will calculate all the start and finish without or with legs. But scheduling is too easy. Even a MS project can do that. Please be careful. When you use as late as possible in Microsoft projects, it gives you the wrong schedule. So I advise you not to use as late as possible settings for your activities in MS projects. It works in Primavera. As late as possible, I just work on Power Projects, works on Safran, works on Accenture, works everywhere, but not in MS Project. It will give you the wrong schedule and you will suffer with it. But gossips apart, today we're going to see Gantt diagram, filter, sort, baseline, and I forgot to write down here, hammocks. We talked and we learned about how to document objectives, what to do, how to do, when to do. Now the complete scenario should be just the schedule or the activity Gantt. Activity Gantt, resource Gantt, material Gantt. The Gantt display when you are going to do things, activity. The resource Gantt next week, you will see how, when resource will be used. Material Gantt next week, you see when Gantt means time schedule, time location. And of course, we must talk something extra for tables and for the diagram. I made this illustration because I like to make illustrations, but because the idea is you give a lot of information on the right, on the left, so the spider or good project management tool engineers this information to give you outputs. And these outputs are the classified tables, filtered tables, sorted tables, in order to see what you want according to what you need. So good information in good outputs, good information outputs. I try to represent here tables because that's written data, diagram, Gantt diagram that we're talking about these 6 meetings, because it's a way of understanding how things will happen in time, and also some diagrams like histograms. We saw the WBS charts giving us the idea of the composition of work or classification of work, and we also may have risk analysis. It's a graphical way to have an output. You may have tables instead of graphic information, and you may also have other S-curves way output of graphical way outputs to analyze costs or earned value or consuming. Okay? Today, the Gantt diagram will be details. You have the tables on the right, on the left, and the diagram on the right. But next week, we will see that you may also have diagrams below the Gantt time scale, the Gantt timeline information. This diagram here will appear showing the amount of resource we use, the amount of money we need, as curves like earned value. This will be shown next week and beyond. But please pay attention here. The amount of information you have at the same screen without using Excel support or any other BI to show information, I think it's a good thing to have in a project management tool. It contains everything in itself. You have not to ask for help, another application, another program. That's something interesting. We have to talk about table, and the table is the input for Gantt diagrams to display information, as I told, in a graphic way. But tables and Gantt diagrams may be under some refine. You may sort your information in the table. You may filter information on your table. A table is a complete data set of a complete set of data for your information, but too many information may confuse you. So you can filter information and order the way it presents to you. And Gantt, the diagram, may be adjusted by its color to show the schedule, the previous schedule, or the activities as they are ASAP schedules, or at the same time, they show you how would it be if it was a latest possible scheduled. And also a diagram, the Gantt diagram shows you links to make the logic more understandable. And I'd like to beg you, please keep your tables sorted or filtered. Keep your colored diagrams with or without baseline, with or without links under layouts. When you fix a layout for the amount of information you want to see, it is best practice for reaching the desirable information as quick as you can. Because if you have every time, you have to sort your information. If you have to filter, you have to adjust the number of fields in your table. Every time you reach a table, you lose a lot of time and you have to rework instead of having it ready, as I showed here by layouts information. Let's jump into some ready files I prepared yesterday. You may note that two different versions appeared for Mamani. I use Mamani's file to improve some ideas, to change it. I will open this one first. And when you try to open my file over Mamani's information, Mamani's data, you will see that you have to give a password to access it. As I am one of the 4 allowed to access, I have to input my passwords. I received the password for it. Otherwise, Mamani, Joseph, and Rafael won't be able to see what is in my projects. Have you tried it, Mamani or Joseph? Because Rafael did it yesterday.
Yeah, I tried it this morning and the password section appeared.
And you could not reach it?
No.
Okay, I will give you the password to you in the private way. Of course, because it's personal. So your password won't be showed publicly. Okay, this I will call my class number 6. This is an example, of course, a complete list of activities, phases, work package that I built over Mamani's file. Okay, activity. There are almost 200 activities here, so you will be able to open it in your academic version. And because I used all the fields we discussed, we have different layouts in order to help him not to rebuild everything again. Class 6 here keeps also the level I left my layouts predefined. But I'd like to show you that there are some new fields here. New for you, of course. Finish, start, finish, and start, finish, baseline. When you finish your work, I think you have seen this adjust before. In properties, you have baseline version. You have saved your complete schedule, you have finished with your work, and you probably saved it with a name and a version. As it is my final work, my completed scheduled work, I will keep it as my baseline version. Select, okay. Okay, if I define my baseline, it won't be my baseline until I ask Spider to understand it as a baseline. And you must come into the menu and say compare and choose comparison setup. Because there are dozens of fields on the left side. And it comes just some few fields as default. I used to select all fields and move to the right panel in order to have all the information compared with my baseline. If I have any change in my information, in my present, in my actual schedule, it may be compared to the baseline information. In Microsoft projects, because we use it a lot, in Microsoft projects, we had 5 main baseline information. Now we have 10 or 12 baseline information. 5 or 10 is really much more, it's really fewer than the amount of information you can compare with Spider. General means general fields. Cost component means information about cost. Cost center, material center, material set, user fields. Even the fields I created may be compared. Links. There are a lot of information about links. Kind index preceding everything may be compared if you desire. If you check you select all the fields on the left and move to the right. That means that there are hundreds of fields that you may compare. You may check if they have changed or not. After selecting what you want by setup, you may compare with baseline. All the fields, and we'll check, and it will fill information like baseline start field, baseline finish field, baseline duration field, baseline everything field. They will fill it with baseline file information you set in project properties. Okay? Do I need to select everything? No, you don't, but it is not a work for you. It's a work for the computer. So let's computer work for you. If you don't want to see it, you may delete results. Okay, I want to see, or I don't want to keep this information here, but okay, I want to keep this information in order I could check. Move the information into the proper fields if you desire to, if you want to fetch information. Okay, but you also can compare your project with another project. Imagine you are on version 3 regarding to December information, and you want to compare with November version 2. Not the baseline original contract information, but with last month, the month before last month, or with previous version. You have 3 ways of comparing, a quick way to compare, to analyze your actual data. Okay? The most common with baseline. And if you look to the Gantt diagram, you see a shadow here in my activities and my work package or deliverable. Or on our milestone here, there is a tiny shadow just to remember me, or just to show that this schedule is exactly the same as our baseline version. If I change here, just for example, into not 4, but into 10 days, and I recalculate it, I reschedule it. Remember, CPM scheduling, the first button. You see, when it finishes, you see the sliding of the blue and red bars to the right, because the nets will make the logic, the link logic occurs. It is too slow because there is a reason I'll tell you. Can you see this sliding here? The blue or red colors moved to the future and left its shadow behind. Okay, I will make it Control Z. Instead of just calculating CPM schedule, I must warn you, reserve, calculate drag. I will uncheck this box, and you see that it was faster than anything you have seen before. Drag is a field, drag is a parameter, and we were talking about drag later in this meeting. But as you see, now my diagram, the baseline for time information, start and finish, is easy to be seen here. But of course, there are other information: cost, resource usage, resource quantity, material consumption, that we're not talking today, but they will exist actually in this schedule and compared with the baseline version schedule. I think it's enough. Yes, okay, for comparison. And table, I showed you baseline start, baseline finish. I could also show you duration, days, duration, remaining days. From current, please look to the mouse movement, from current, from baseline, and even the difference between baseline and current. Sorry, did not select. Duration days, remaining. Current, baseline, difference, show and close. Okay, duration from baseline, and the difference. Of course, there is no difference. No change was made up to now. But instead of changing the duration of a non-critical activity, I will change it here for a critical activity. 22 days, it calculates immediately, but to see it on the graphic, you must reschedule in CPM. Wait, you see the increase of my critical activity and the sliding of everybody into the future. And not only the one I changed, but also the work package was delayed. Also the deliverable foundation was delayed. And of course, the project was affected by the same amount of days. It's not an obligation to be the same amount of delaying, but In this case, it is identical. Control Z. Came into 11. Recalculate by CPM scheduling option. Everything came again. Did you understand that including fields from baseline on from actual scheduling and the difference that you can see, not for duration, but also for cost, use, quantities, everything? Thumbs up.
I'll have to look at it well after the class. I have to watch the video again.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Compares okay, I have some. I said about, I told you about filtering and sorting. Imagine, there are a lot of activities here. And I would like to see just the critical ones. I have to filter, like Excel. I will show the column that tells me which activity is critical. C. Okay, I standard critical, here, critical. A specific field for that. Critical receives 1 if it is critical and receive nothing if it is not. Right mouse button on the head of column and look for filter. Sort, a lot of sorts, but filter. And you decide to filter activities or to filter phase or to filter assignments that I have done into my activities. Okay, or for materials, I will apply filters for activities that has 1 or no information. Phases are not critical because they do not anything, they suffer the consequence. Activities equal to 1. In this case, there are just two values. So it's equal to 1 is critical. Greater than 1, there is no meaning here. Okay, equal to 1, less than, does not contain, for text. Okay, 1, show, apply and click. Okay, show. Pay attention to this checkbox here. Cancel previous filter. I may apply a sequence of filters. So this first filter I will keep up. Cancel previous filter to have my first filtering. On the right, you see, okay. On the right, you see just the red ones, the critical ones. Instead of looking into all the almost 200 activities, I'm looking into just 120 activities here. Okay, let's apply another filter. I don't want to see every critical activity. I want to see activities that has a duration greater than 10 days, 2 days. Okay, filter by value. Do not cancel the previous filter. And I want to see only activities that are greater than or greater and equal to. Okay, greater than 7 days. No, greater than or equal to 7 days. Because I'm interested which activities are critical and I have a significant amount of time in order I could think to reduce it. Okay, apply, close, just about 30 or 20 activities that I could reduce. 11, 23 days, 23 days, 11, 7, according to my filter. But please, I applied filters in these layouts. If I left my layouts and come into it, the filters won't be applied to my set of data. Okay, I will layouts, I will save. No, you won't save the filters into layouts if you just apply filters on the head of the columns, on the head of the information. You must come into filter, apply, and create a specific filter for your work. I have 2 filters that I've created yesterday, but I'll create another one now. New, a name, critical activities, and greater than, greater or equal, né? Or equal than, oh my God, then 7 days. I have to, that's a bit not so friendly way. But okay, field, you have to choose the field. Which field is under filtering? Critical or not critical? Okay, critical, standard, critical, okay, equals to 1. Critical equals to 1. You are creating almost a formula. Critical equals to 1 and, okay, and no, I will choose and by button. And another condition, duration, fields, duration, remaining, okay, is greater than, greater or equal, okay. This symbol, you may type by yourself, or you may use this quick button here. 7. This is a filter. When you, okay, COD 01, okay? This is a filter. If you apply this filter, when you save your layout, it will keep this filter created in a specific place, place in your spider tables. There's a table for filters. The Gantt layout preserving will just happen if you apply a filter from a filter table, a filter that you have created previously. If you just filter on your layouts, it will help you to see everything you want, but it will work just on the layouts, and when you left your layouts, the filter will be lost. Okay? What was confused? Applying close, so the filter is here. Now I can save a new layouts. Okay, if I come back to my class 6, there is no critical field, no critical filter, there is no duration filter selecting over than 7 days. But if I apply the new layouts, it will come exactly the fields outside and a filter applied to the whole data, the whole previous data. It's the same as I apply here my show my critical column, show my duration column, and to apply a filter, a local filter for critical, and then without concealing my first filter, applying my over than 7 days. So filters may be applied locally in the layout you want to analyze, or globally for your layouts. You see in menu, you have filter, apply filter, filter activities. There are some already filters done in order to make things easy. If you have your activities and you want to check if your activities are linked or not, show columns preceding activities, show columns succeeding activities, or succeeding activities. And you may filter. Is there an activity without a previous, a predecessor? You filter by, okay, who has no predecessor? There are a lot of predecessors for my data sets. So who has not a predecessor? Just one. Start has no predecessor because start is the first thing that happens in my schedule. Okay, cancel filter here, cancel filter in this button, or by your selection in columns. Is there any activity without successors? At least one successor. Filter by, let's see if there is any activity without dangling, not attached to any other work. Yes, there is. Finish. Of course, finish. Milestone is the last thing I do. Otherwise, all my activities have predecessor and successor. That's a way to check my net. Canceling filter, hiding columns, and filter is presented. We don't have it, but you may sort by duration. I don't know why would you sort by duration, but you may sort by start. Sorts by column starts. Everything that comes first, then the others that come later, of course, according to their structure. The first ones will appear ordered by its start. Okay, by finish, sorted by finish, by column. Okay, to appears here according to their structure, they will be sorted. The one that finished earlier. Right click, sort by columns, sort by multiple columns. You may set a lot of columns. You may try it by yourself with your own time. Start by start date. Oh, my start date is red here. Sort inside groups. Okay, that's a group. I just want to sort this part of my Gantt, this part of my table, this part of my schedule. There are a lot of sorts here, so you may try it later when you have time. Filter, just one line for filters, because filter invokes you to create almost special set of commands. Greater than, ands, or not, or there are lots of connectors here. Equal, not equal, great or not. Okay, Mamani.
Yeah, Marcus. So, how will you sort by activities beginning in a particular week? Let's say you want to know activities that are going to start, that are scheduled to start from Monday. Monday was 10th November to Friday, to Saturday, 15th November 2025. So, like, if you want to know the list of activities that are supposed to schedule to start this week, how
It's a
will you do that?
filter. Okay, it's a filter. It's not just sorting. You have to make a filter where it starts. I will write it. Starts is equal or greater than your Monday. That's not the correct way. I just giving a logical example. Start on Monday and finish before or in Friday. Okay, you have to give the filter the span, the time span. So every activity outside this span won't appear on your table or in your activity Gantt drawing. And then you apply sort by name. In this week, we are going to, in this span of time, we are going to work on these activities. Okay, and I want it sorted, ordered by its name, its responsible, but okay, you will decide it. But remember, sort is fixed on your layout regardless if you want or not. But filters, they won't stay in your layouts unless you invoke them by a specific table or a specific previous adjusts attached to your layouts and then preserved by layouts save as currents. Okay, Mamani?
Okay, understood.
Any other question? If you have during your day, just use the Telegram chat. And
Okay, I will.
filter, sort, I think I could remember everything. Okay, and do we have to talk about Gantt diagram? Why the system did not ask me the password? Because I was just logged into this specific projects, so it remembers until I left Spider application. It will understand that I am still the owner of the file. Okay, critical path, a special layout, keeping all the columns and filters. Critical path opportunity. Critical path opportunity means instead of just have critical float 0, total float equals 0, I have drag dates. Drag dates is a parameters that was built on 2000 or 1999 that came into PMBOK yesterday, because PMBOK was launched yesterday. That shows you that although let me clean my filter. Although I have a critical activity, filter, critical activities, although I have activities that are critical, that seems to, if activity is critical, everything I have on these activities for delaying in any of them will delay my project's goal. If I increase, what is it? From 11 days to 12, my project will suffer its consequence. The finish date will be delayed. But sometimes I want to reduce the time of my activities, the time of the duration of my activities, in order to anticipate my goals, my target dates. And drag, it means there's a calculation for it. Drag means how much I can reduce my duration in my critical path in order not creating another critical path. Because if I reduce this activity from 11 to 7 days, another branch may be critical. Another blue branch, non-critical branch, may become critical. Is it clear for you, Joseph, Rafael, and Mamani? You have experienced something like that? Okay. So drag duration by Stephen DeVoe was developed and hidden for people. The kind of information that should be widespread was kept hidden because PMI did not include it in any PMBOK since 2004. Yesterday, I think, they launched PMBOK 8th edition, and it is written there, drag duration. If you look to drag duration, means how much you reduce your activity duration in order to do not create another critical branch. Okay, if you reduce 4 days in 4 days, of course, it's the whole activity that makes no sense. So I must look for a filter where drag days is less than the whole duration of activity. That's the way I made a filter called critical with opportunities. Critical with opportunity means actual duration less. Drag duration is greater than 0. I can reduce my critical activity duration by some days without eliminating it as an opportunity, and must be critical because any activity that is non-critical has no drag days, no drag duration to be reduced. If I apply this, I will have my critical path opportunity layout I made by filtering and not sorting. Look, this activity, oh my God, this activity has 7 days to be completed. And according to Stephen DeVoe calculations, I may reduce 4 days here without making any other branch critical. So I could say, okay, I could plan with my subcontractors. I don't know. Instead of working on 7 days, you have to give this work in 6 days. So I will reduce my target date from September 30 to September 29th. I will have a 1 day reduce. And I may use the same strategy to 23 days, and I can just earn 1 day. Although there is a long time to produce my activity 460, the opportunity I have, the gain I have is just 1 day without creating another critical path. 7. That's why when I asked for CPM scheduling, I had to unlock. Oh my God, again, I'm disastrous today. That's why I had to uncheck this box, because when you ask for drag calculation, it spends too much more energy. It has to make a lot of different tryings and failing calculation to know how many days they have in this parameter, how many drag days this schedule has. But by the way, this is a CPM calculation, and this CPM calculation does not take in account resource constraints. And you saw that Spider can calculate drag since 2010. 15 years ago, it was able to calculate drag as a parameter for your analysis. Primavera does not have it. Microsoft projects also do not have it. And our project has. And there is another software that's intending to include it because it's very useful, convenient to make your analysis. Because you may apply a lot of money here, a lot of efforts, and reduce 7 days into 2 days. But if you do it, you will start a new critical path, and you are going to lose efforts and money to reduce something that's not so interesting, is not so worthy for results. Critical path with opportunity means you show drag days and apply filters to have it. Critical path effects. I don't know what I did. I don't remember why made this critical path effects. I don't know what. And project info. I think I have exhausted the information about filters, sorts, drag, opportunities, analyzing critical path. To finish, the diagram. The diagram, let's see, it's here. All the activities. The diagram shows us blue bars, and you may change it if you decide to recolor everything. You will find how to replace or change colors in color button. And the colors may be changed. The shadow, baseline shadow, you may also change the color, and you may decide to delete results. Okay, the shadow will disappear. The links may be set on or off by this button. The links between activities. You cannot link deliverables or work packages because not only is a wrong procedure, but also the Spider does not allow you to do that. As it's nonsense linking deliverables, because you link activities. The work must be linked, but the products are a consequence of its nets. So you cannot link deliverables or work package. What else I have to? Okay, right click on set on the head of timeline. Settings, whole project. Whole project means whole projects. You fit the timeline to include all, from beginning to the ends, all the activities in this space, in this, how to say, in this timeline space. You may scroll it, or you may whole project fits. Schedule, settings, year, quarter, month, you may try by yourself later. Settings, show years, month title, day title, alignment by hours, by days, from start dates, no, from the first day of November, okay? So you see November here. November, okay, November 1st. Whole projects. Where is November? No November here, okay? Setting from November 1st, before project starts, until 1 month project finish. October 30. Where is it? Oh, 27. September, October 27. Setting, October. Okay, now you see October here at the end of your timeline. Settings, whole projects, quarter, year, quarter, month, whole projects with month. If you use this slide cursor here, you may open into weeks, days. Please note that weekends are colored. Settings, weekends, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, color. Strip or just the head of the time scale. Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday are holidays. You color it just to make your time scale in diagram, the Gantt, a bit more friendly to your intentions. Okay, primarily, ALAP schedule. What means ALAP schedule? As late as possible. Whole projects. These activities are non-critical activities. So they have total floats. These activities are critical activities. They do not have total floats. I will hide the links and I will I will primarily say, show me a lap schedule without making these activities a lap. Okay. These activities, the blue one, may be done by this way, by this time. Not on December, but maybe accomplished by late in 2007, because they have total floats. There is a right amount of time for total floats. These red ones do not have any total floats. But this blue one here, I lost my activity, but I know that's somewhere by here. Look to my mouse, right click on the white panel and scroll to, okay, scroll to activity. There's some activities here and I want to scroll to reach them. Right click button, scroll to, okay, and it brings the activity on the first part of the panel. Whole projects as late as possible, setting. I don't want to see as late as possible. I don't want to see critical baseline. I want to see not early than triangle. I don't want to, or I want to see not later than triangle. And you try it here to make some changes to accomplish your desires. Additional links. Oh, the links came back. No links. Resource dependence we'll see next week. Flex, another kind of floats. Colors. Each activity may be changed automatically, not by defining colors here, not by defining general colors, but you may change activity color by some parameter. A column, then the extension of its duration, the extension of its cost. You may change it. So red means critical. Dark red means critical with no drag. Brown one means activities that are not critical but high cost. So you may change it to make things beautiful for your, how did Joseph said, immediate boss, I think, immediate, how did you say, your immediate boss, immediate manager, how
Yeah,
did you,
immediate boss.
yes,
Immediate,
immediate,
yeah.
make things beautiful, more
Yeah.
beautiful for your immediate boss. Okay, for that, okay, if you preserve the layout, all the changes you made for your Gantt diagram will be preserved in these layouts. Just baseline, that's not customizable layout item. If you say, I want to see my baseline, it will be shown here or in any other layout that use activity diagram. Okay, let's see if I have anything else. The color, okay. I finish with the amount of information for today. There is another one. Sometimes you make a new layout, but you misspell some words or you decide to change everything. So you come into view, other, not resource material, but other subjects, layouts, control layouts, you see all the layouts you have. Activities, okay, base, okay. Bases come from before, base comes before, 000 comes before 001, okay. I move the line with my mouse. 111, 25, okay. Project info should be spelled with capital letter for projects and the capital letter for info. Okay, it's beautiful, nice. Save, okay. When I go to my drop-down list, so you see, where is it? I got other layouts, control, project info, capital letters, okay. So when I come into my drop-down list, first is base. Okay, I had to have a refresh here. Base is the number one because I have moved it to the top, and project info with capital letters for P and I. Okay? So you can change any mistake. Oh, you can also delete. You can also delete any layout you don't not want anymore. This layout here, double click, critical path. The instructions to keep the layout under control is made by almost XML codes like Excel. Microsoft idea. Critical path is the filter that is used. Split position 1, 10, 30. Split position. Split position means this one here. Split position. So it is all recorded in layout table. Okay? Okay. Just to finish. Planning is not just scheduling. What I have finished today is scheduling by CPM, not scheduling. If you finish your work by today, with what using what we have discussed, you have scheduled your work, but you had not planned your projects. You have just scheduled and you know what to do and how to do and when it's going to happen, but not planned everything. You may be planning the time things will occur, but schedule and another adjective, scheduling by CPM methods, where you have all the resource and money and you just have to work. You have no constraints about resource. Next week, no, the week after next week, we are going to plan scheduling. We're going to do scheduling by RCP, resource path methods or control. To be a complete planning, project planning, you must cover costs, risk, resource management too. We are going to see costs because we are going to see, because the next meeting we'll talk about it. So not only scheduling, but also cost management. On Wednesday, we are going to say resource management part 1. On Friday, resource management part 2. And they'll say, have you finished our planning? No, because we have schedules by CPM. We have cost management, resource management, not risk yet, not even RCP or resource constraint scheduling. Just for information, I made some tests with my mind's work, and I included a resource, a label, a resource working for every activity. All the activity here has one resource, because like Smith, Mr. Smith is working in every activity here. If I had just one Mr. Smith, this work would be impossible. I mean, CPM scheduling is a technique where you consider infinite resource, infinite material, infinite costs, infinite money. Resource. When you see Mr. Smith or a carpenter or a bricklayer, I don't know, you may say, I have one Mr. Smith, and he will be responsible to do all this work. You see here the main phase. I will expand until level 3. Until level 3. And it finished on September 27. But if you do not consider CPM scheduling, but resource scheduling, not calculating drag, but generally the most standard way of reallocating Mr. Smith, things will be different. Next week we see that. Instead of 2007, it will be finished in 2029. Every work here, interruptible or continue, will be done by Mr. Smith. Only one Mr. Smith. If I look for not a Mr. Smith, but a carpenter or a bricklayer, you say, I have 10 bricklayers. Give me the final date. Okay, 10 bricklayer will finish on September. Considering baseline, it's the same. I think it's the same. Here, the same. I will make a zoom to see that if I have just 7 bricklayers, where is it? 7. Is it possible to accomplish this project with just 7 bricklayers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 seconds later, yes, it is possible. If I had just 5 bricklayers, is it possible to accomplish it? 1, 2, 3 seconds after, yes, it's possible. But 1 bricklayer or 1 Mr. Smith, it is shown. In 3 seconds, you can understand if what you have is enough to accomplish. Okay, bye-bye, Rafael. You can accomplish your project targets. I mean, 3 seconds for 1 resource. We will see much more about that. We are late, half an hour. Joseph and Mamani, you know what hammock means. You know what's the purpose of a hammock activity. Do you?
No, I do not know what the
Hammock.
purpose of hammock.
When you plan your work, you have active work that produce the work package. These 3 activities, or duration activity or productivity activities, build the site survey. If you do not work on these 3 activities, you won't have your site survey benchmark verification. You won't have it, a report or a tangible work. But somebody has to supervise it. Somebody has to check quality and make analysis, quality analysis. Somebody has to just see what's happening. They do not do anything to make the work. So these activities that works to build something, and these are activities that just exist to support, to accomplish, to see, or to analyze, but do not the work. Imagine if you have these 3 activities working together or in a net, as we linked it, you will have your work package and you give it to your clients and the client will be happy. But somebody has to see what's happening, analyze what's happening, give security, label security. I forgot how to say. Labor security. The use of PPE, this kind of thing. And these are type hammock, not duration, nor productivity. It's a hammock. Double click, you see hammock here. The hammocks must be led by two information: when you start and when you finish. I made a hammock that starts. I will link again, and you see start. This milestone commands these activities to start together at the same time. And this other milestone commands hammock 1 to finish together. Finish. What does it mean? That when my project starts, begin, when all the activities start to be done according to their timetable, these people here, this group here, will be looking into their work. So if I set here my money will be here as long as these activities exists. If they have a delay, the milestone, the finish milestone will be delayed, and the hammock will be increased by enough time to support this new finish date. So it's not a defined duration task. It's a flexible duration task. It will increase or decrease according to the work they are attached to. This hammock number 2 is attached to somewhere here in my schedule. Double click in hammock 2. When I say links, there are 3 activities that commands it starts. Properties, start by start. These activities order hammock 2 starts together, no lag. These activities 635 commands this hammock 2 starts together, and these activities 955 commands it hammock 2 to finish together. So if I where is duration? If I change 5 to 50, the schedule will change the final dates. And if I calculate, it's a blue. It's not a critical activity. The complete the whole project won't be changed. So my hammock 1 won't change. I must look for a critical one. Red one. Here. If I change here from 7 to 70, my project will be damaged by this increase. So calculating it, you see that my hammock number 1 was changed to fit the new behavior, the new state of my schedule. And this hammock 2 also was affected because this activity commands the starts, and somewhere someone commands its finish. It was delayed. This one also was damaged in length. And this one was not damaged by its duration, but on the date of its schedule. These hammocks are activities that do not produce, don't build anything. They just see what happened. They just supervise, analyze. Okay, Mamani.
Okay, so in essence, so can we say that like the project laboratory, let's say you are constructing road or you're building a house, and for you to cast concrete and all that, the laboratory will have to perform some tests on the concrete and all that. Though they are not producing the concrete, but they are also required to supervise the concrete works and all that. So is that the hammock we are talking about? And could we also consider like the HR department as hammock? Since
Yes.
they exist once the workers on the field also exist.
Yes. If you have a laboratory that analyze your work of concretion, the work of concreting, yes. If you have a laboratory that supervises it, imagine the laboratory starts before, they start before your concreting. So the hammock will be set, starts before, with a leg less a week before, less 5. The hammock will be set, starts. The laboratory work will be started a week earlier. So who demands the laboratory work? The concreting. So the concreting is the activity you plan. But the hammock will be a consequence of your real work, production work, duration work, productivity work. So hammock comes behind it. And imagine if the laboratory is scorching your concreting, it could not stop just when you stop. I think you could say finish, okay? Finish. The finish of concreting commands hammock to finish together, but finish a week later. Because after concrete, you have some reports, you have some photos, and laboratory must finish its work. So the hammock is longer than your concreting work. Did you understood? Did you understand? Okay. And hammocks are not real work. I'm sorry, are not direct work. People used to plan just the work that products something you touch, something you get. But imagine there is direct cost and indirect cost. Direct cost, indirect cost. So you must model it because it means resource, it means cost, it means rent or some contracts that must be paid, must be built. If you do not the modeling of your indirect work, it is not a complete schedule. Of course, it won't be a complete plan, project plan. Hammocks are very common. Primavera has hammock. It is possible to make hammocks in MS projects, but with a workaround. It's not natural. It does not support hammocks as a natural way of planning or scheduling. We have to have a workaround, very unstable workaround, but you may model it. Joseph, have you ever seen hammock? Kind of modeling like this?
Yeah, there was one particular file that Tiago showed me some time ago. It had hammock. That was when he was doing the resource planning and then the rest. But myself, I've not practiced it and then I've not used it before.
Now you have to practice. You have to include hammocks on your exercise just to have problems. And when you have problems, you may use your Telegram chats. Just to finish, sometimes not working with CPM, a rich way of scheduling things. You set what you want and every resource and money comes from Skype. When you use hammocks in a proper way, you may discover that paying for extra resource, paying for extra hours during the labor may reduce the hammock's times, hammock duration, and reducing rents, reducing resource, reducing payments you have to do for these services, because these are service, another service. There are some contractors you must pay to help you. Sometimes when you reschedule your work, considering more resource, because sometimes you don't have, you may see that it will reduce the project costs, project final costs, because the indirect costs sometimes is significant regarding the direct costs. So hammocks are necessary, and hammocks keeps us understand the amount of resource, space, and money we are going to spend on our projects. Rafael will have to see hammocks by the video. Do not forget, you publish it in web to see hammocks, to see links, to see the final schedule you are going to produce. Because today we have finished with scheduling half the way, the final schedule, going to resource next week.
We'll be waiting for the video and then we'll watch it again and then we'll be able to do our assignments and then we'll submit to the web.
There are too many information at the same time, that's right?
Yes, in fact, today it's a lot of information.
And sometimes when they are new information, at the same time, it's worse than the same information at the same time. Yeah, the same information, I have not so difficulties. Okay, bye-bye. See you in Telegram,
Okay.
or see you
Thank you for
next
the class.
Monday.
Okay. See you on next Monday.